Despite the justifications from the ruling camp regarding the salary increase for ministers and top state functionaries, the sky is grey on a sunny day over at the Ministry of the Presidency. In an exclusive interview with Nightly News on Thursday at his East Bank home, former Foreign Affairs Minister under the People's National Congress, Rashley Jackson, is telling the government that they made a huge mistake.
When it comes to salaries, it made promises about public servants, teachers, and others. It never made any promises about regularizing salaries of ministers, which is new about because it was in Parliament before. So that the thing is that on the specifics of salaries, there was no expectation on the part of the constituencies of the population that there would be the question of salaries of ministers. People were expecting salaries of public servants, policemen, and teachers, etc.
Jackson says that the government did not consider how its constituents would judge the decision, so they went ahead and did their own thing. He reminded that the people voted for change, which is believed to mean that the new government would not do what the previous government had done. He is now questioning, is it change or exchange?
The people who voted the new government in voted on the basis that against the excesses of what they saw as the excesses of the previous government. And therefore the new government, has to guard against giving any impression that it is continuing in a process of excesses. And I think that it made a misjudgment in not seeing that this action, more particularly in the light of what it did for public servants, could be seen as a process of excesses which the previous government was involved in.
Minister of Governance Raphael Trotman recently asked the nation to trust the government as they will provide a good life for all Guyanese. But Jackson is asking the government why the people have to wait for a good life while officials are creating a good life for themselves now.
Trust has to be earned, and therefore if trust is broken, it can only be restored by what action the government takes in the future to restore trust of the people in the new government. I'm not saying that trust has disappeared, but surely it has been breached by the very words Mr. Trotman has used. He's calling for trust in the government. So I would think that whatever the government does in the future must take into account the impact that this increase that has done for ministers has had upon the confidence of the population.
Mr. Jackson says with only 5 months in office, the government has not provided any real service to the people to take a pay hike. He went on to say that the ordinary man continues to suffer, and this he called a betrayal to pensioners.
Take what they've done to pensioners. I'm a pensioner. You have withdrawn the electricity subsidy. You have withdrawn the water subsidy. And then you're given a small increase in the pension, which is literally, it's quite minuscule. And at the same time, you increase your salary by 50%. How do you think pensioners will feel? So you have to consider the impact of what you're doing on people.
The former minister said it all now depends on what the government does in the future to regain the trust of its people. Jackson served as Foreign Affairs Minister and a Member of Parliament for the People's National Congress from 1978 to 1990. Royden James for HGP Nightly News.